Hola Spain lovers, Stuart here, and if you're planning a trip to Spain or planning on moving to Spain and you want to eat like a local, there are some key mistakes that you'll need to avoid. From when to eat, what to order, and how to avoid tourist traps, here are some of the big mistakes that people keep making when eating out here in Spain. So let's go and sit down and get stuck into the video. Vámonos! Now, the first foodie mistake here in Spain that I'm going to bring to your attention is eating Spain's most famous dish, the paella, at night. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've seen tourists sitting down in coastal resorts at night eating paella, and you don't see locals doing this. And the reason's quite simple, and it is that paella is quite a heavy dish and not the best thing to eat before you go to bed, and that's why you'll hardly ever see locals eating paella at night, only for lunch. And while we're on the subject of paella, it's also important to eat Spain's most important dish, as I said before, in the right place and not just in any bar or restaurant that you come across that happens to have paella on the menu. And if you see pictures of paella outside a restaurant here in Spain, normally that's a sign that the paella in that restaurant or other rice dishes are not very good. So my recommendation would be to avoid those places as well, places that advertise their paellas outside the establishment. And also there are an abundance of rice dishes here in Spain, not only paella. For example, you've got arroz de banda, arroz al horno, arroz negro. So try something different when it comes to rice dishes here, not only paella. Now, another huge mistake that visitors to this country often make when it comes to food is thinking that all tapas are free, and it's not the case. Yes, there are some parts of the country where you do get free food with your drink. For example, in Granada, in the south of Spain, in Avila, in central Spain. Here in Madrid, you'll also get something to eat, but not elaborate tapas. But in some parts of the country, you will have to pay for tapas. For example, in the north of the country, if you go to Bilbao, San Sebastian in the Basque country, you will probably not get tapas for free. You'll see them on the counter in bars and restaurants there, but you'll have to pay for each individual tapa, or pincho as they are called in that part of the world. So before you start munching away on your tapas, find out if they are free or not. Remember, in some parts of the country they are, but in other parts of the country you will be charged for them. Now, another huge mistake that tourists often make here in Spain is ordering sangria every time they sit down at a bar or restaurant. And if you look around, locals are not doing that. In fact, I can't remember the last time that I saw a Spanish person drinking sangria. They might be drinking something that looks like sangria, but most likely they're drinking a tinto de verano, which is a very, very popular summer drink, not sangria. On a recent holiday to the Canary Islands, I sat down at a bar in a popular tourist area, looked around and was surprised by how many tourists were drinking sangria. And then I looked at what some of the locals were drinking, and believe me, it was not that drink. And also, if you walk into a restaurant or bar and see that they have the sangria already prepared, that is a tourist trap. So don't get sucked into that. Foodie mistake number 4, and this is a common error in many tourist areas of the country, and it is having too much for breakfast. Quite often you see tourists sitting down having a big breakfast, an English breakfast in some resorts around the country, and you don't see locals doing this, because here in Spain, locals normally have a light breakfast. A piece of toast with some tomato and olive oil on top, cup of coffee, maybe something sweeter like churros or porras, but that's about it. You will never see a Spanish person sitting down and eating baked beans for breakfast. Lunch is the big meal here, and that is what Spaniards are saving themselves for. Not breakfast, but lunch. And what I'm eating here, this pincho de tortilla, normally is a mid-morning snack around 10, 11, 11:30 a.m. You'll see people eating this, but not often for breakfast first thing in the morning. So keep that in mind as well. Now, another common error here in Spain when it comes to eating and drinking out is expecting fast service. Quite often you'll see foreigners getting frustrated with the service because they would like it to be a little bit faster, but quite often that is not the case. In Spain, dining is a slow and cultural experience. Quite often waiters won't rush you, I think that's a good thing, and you might have to try to catch their attention to get service. But remember, it's not bad service a lot of the time, it's culture. However, there are parts of the country where you can find bad service, especially in the summer months in the tourist areas in the south of Spain, for example. I remember going to a restaurant in Malaga once and we didn't eat for 2.5 hours. That's how bad the service was there. So if you walk into a restaurant and see that people are sitting there without food on the table, that is a sign that the service is bad, and avoid those type of places. So when dining out here in Spain, sit down, relax, and enjoy the meal and enjoy the slow food culture. Now, another foodie mistake that tourists quite often make here in Spain is not ordering the menu del dia, which in my opinion is the best valued meal in this country. You get a first course, a second course, dessert or coffee, and a drink thrown in for a price that's often cheaper than some of the items individually on the menu. And as I said, it's the best valued way to eat here in Spain. So remember to always check if the restaurant you are planning on visiting has a menu del dia or not. If it's not advertised, ask the people inside the restaurant if they do a menu del dia. And remember, it's normally only available at lunchtimes. Now, another common mistake when it comes to food that people make when they visit Spain is not trying the regional specialties. Spain is a country where the cuisine varies enormously depending on where you are. In the north of the country, for example, the food is completely different to the south of the country, and the food in the east of the country is different to the food in the west of the country. So remember to try those regional specialties. If you are in Galicia, try the pulpo or the octopus. If you're in the south of Spain, try the fried fish. If you're in the Basque country, go for the pinchos. And if you're in the center of Spain, you must try the roasts. Roast lamb, roast pork, and roast goat, the specialties in the center of the country. Now, another error that people often make is thinking that Spanish food is going to be spicy, and believe me, that is not the case. Spanish food has nothing to do with Mexican food, for example. In fact, you could try the majority of Spanish dishes and not come across a single spicy dish, so keep that in mind. And another thing is that locals here don't eat their meals with condiments. You won't see sauces on the table. There'll be no ketchup, there'll be no mustard, there'll be no HP sauce on the tables here. Spanish food is rich in flavor, but not spicy. And if you want to eat something here with a kick, try patatas bravas or pimientos de padrón when they're in season. Now, another common mistake that people visiting Spain often make is thinking that all Spanish ham is the same, and that is not the case. Unlike the ham that you're probably used to eating, where there's not a lot of difference in quality, here in Spain, that is not the case. You can get very expensive, top quality Spanish ham, and then you've got your low grade Spanish ham, which is a lot cheaper, of course. Jamón serrano would normally be the cheaper cuts of ham, and if you want the premium stuff, you have to ask for jamón ibérico de bellota. So remember, not all Spanish ham is the same. Now, when it comes to coffee, if you want to blend in with the locals, you need to know which type of coffee to order and when to order it. For example, this type of coffee here, the typical café con leche, a white coffee, is normally drunk in the morning, and as the day gets longer, the coffees that the locals drink get smaller. In fact, you would rarely see a Spaniard drinking a coffee this size after lunch, for example. They'd normally have the coffee in a smaller glass, maybe with a little bit of milk, café cortado, or with no milk at all, café solo, and very popular, especially in the summer months, to have your coffee on ice, café con hielo. So keep that in mind. And the final foodie mistake that visitors to this country often make is eating their meals at the wrong times. Sure, you can eat your meals whenever you want, but here in Spain, I recommend eating meals when the locals are eating them. For example, lunch anytime between 1:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon, and dinner around 9 p.m. or even later. And that's because a lot of the restaurants that open earlier... ¿Tienes prisa? No. And that's because a lot of the places that you'll find serving dinner around 6 or 7 p.m. are tourist traps. And quite simply look around and you won't see locals having dinner at that restaurant at that time. So remember to eat like a local here in Spain: small breakfast, mid-morning snack, bigger lunch, and then a smaller, lighter evening meal around 9 p.m. So there you go, some of the mistakes that visitors to this country make when it comes to eating out. And if you have been to Spain and made some of these mistakes, please let me know in the comment section below. Other questions and comments, also please leave them in that section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Enjoy your trip to Spain if you've got one planned. Hasta luego and buen provecho.